Couple of days away, we got the playoffs in Norman, Oklahoma. We're going to talk about it here on the Sooner or Later Sports Show, a Hog Media production presented by Sleeper. That's Coop. I'm Jay. Thanks for pulling up here on the YouTube channel and listening wherever podcasts are downloaded and listened to while you're here. Please wipe your feet and like, subscribe, rate, review. Give us 5 stars. You don't think we deserve it? Go ahead and give us 5 anyway. And gift it. So, on today's episode of the Sooner or Later Sports Show, me and Coop got a lot of cool stuff that we're going to dive into and talk about, like one of our favorite players hit the portal. Breaks our heart, but we totally understand why he's doing it. We've got to talk about the availability report and how we feel about it going into the game. Then we'll break down the actual game and what we feel like should happen and how we feel like the Sooners can, their path to moving on to the next round. Coop, happy Wednesday, my man. You look good. You're not choking right now, so that's always a plus, right?
Man, tis the season. You know, I like
the cooties.
I don't know. Maybe I used to get sick before Christmas because all the anxiety and anticipation, and I'd just like rev myself up and get sick as a child. Now I think that went to a big field trip, a couple soccer games, Cub Scout Christmas party, all in the same day. So it's like it literally was at indoor soccer and was watching a kid lick the glass, and so you're like, man, what? How did I get sick? Well, that's why right there. But she was cute though. She was one of my my daughter's teammates, little sister, adorable. But glass licking will get people sick.
No, not at all. Actually, no, that's not precious. It's not cute either.
Did you ever lick the glass when you were a little kid, or like
no, I never did.
Or,
no, I was actually afraid.
Where that comes from.
I was actually afraid.
Me too.
I was always terrified because it was. Yeah, I was always afraid. So, but as we get off that topic of conversation now, But thank y'all for pulling up. Hit the like button if you're new to the channel. Subscribe, rate, review, give us 5 stars. We did pre-record today. Got a lot of stuff going on in the evening for both as we're preparing. We've got a game, home playoff game. Huge situation for Oklahoma. We've talked about it on Sunday. We talked about it other times, and we all know that we're both excited. We know that y'all should be excited too. The biggest thing for us really is that, is there a path for Oklahoma to actually win this game? And we know there is. We'll dive into that. I think the first conversation, though, is portal talk. The transfer portal giveth, the transfer portal taketh away. And in this unfortunate circumstance, one of our favorites has officially announced that they plan to hit the portal. I got Kendel Dolby. And y'all know that we're huge Dolby guys. He's been on the show numerous times. He's been a big supporter of what we're doing here. And unfortunately, our boy is hitting the portal. So I want to give him a shout out. Thank him for, being supportive of us. Thank you for coming on and chopping it up with us. And yeah, I'm sad to see him go, but I'm glad that we had the times that we had together, and now he'll get one more year to go play and make something happen. Coop, what you think?
This is it's a humongous loss, just because of the person. Let's not get it twisted. Like, he's a great, football player, but he's just a dude. Our first kind of brush with Kendel was that I guess the end of the team awards 2 years ago. He got like the grinder award and the grittiness award and the sandpaper award, and every award that sounds like something Brent Venable created to celebrate guys who are willing to give it all. Plus, he was the recipient of, and man, he will not be remembered the same way that Danny Stutzman was or Ethan Downs was, as far as like turning this defense from the laughing stock of college football to what we have today. But Kendel Dolby is a very, very, very big part of the resurrection and the 180 of this defensive unit.
Yeah, he was part of that. He was a part of the emergence of this defense. He was one of those ball hawking hard hitters that helped to mold the room that we have. I mean, when he came in, I remember him at NEO up there in Miami
Yeah.
and watching him play, and I'm just like, oh no, this is a dude. Please, can we find a way to get a hold of him? We got him. I'm like, yeah, he's gonna be fun to watch, and he was immediately impactful. Then you had how we expected him to make the next jump last season in 24, because he came in at the end of 23 and was really showing up, especially at Cheetah, getting them sacks, causing picks. He did start at the season the next year. Still my favorite play is him losing his mind thinking that he did miss out on an interception, and come to find out Kanai Walker caught it and took it. So, of course, I'm stoked, like cracking up at him, just losing his mind. He's like, man, I just didn't realize that, it went down. And then, of course, the injury happens against Tennessee, and it was devastating for all of us. And now, this season he came back, looked like he was recovered, but was dealing with other ailments on the body. And as that room was developing and emerging, it just unfortunately got to the point where he kind of got lost in the shuffle. I think, to me, though, the picking up of Kendall Daniels and then the emergence of Reggie Powers III that we expected, that kind of made it hard for him to maintain in the shuffle. And then Cortland Guillory goes out there, shows out at corner to where you're comfortable with him with Eli Bowen once he came back healthy, right? Like, Eli showed up healthy, and you're like, oh, shoot, you're nervous about him. He missed the first few games of the season, actually up to SEC play, and you're worried about, okay, we're going to need another corner. Dolby probably could step up in that. Cortland shows up, and then everybody else, you start to see, oh, okay, I think we're good. Then you come into the season, you're like, all right, well, he kind of got lost in the shuffle, I guess you could say, especially dealing with his ailments.
And I mean, at this point, like, he's been unable to play full-fledged football for well over a year. He got hurt against Tennessee last year. He finally starts coming back in spring practice, has a little ding. Now, I think that he is 100% healthy right now. Health is not an issue. I think he posted something on X, just a few hours ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're going to get it. But I do want to point this out. Like, your goal as a player of his caliber is to play the game.
Yeah,
right now, he is so far behind, the team just in chemistry wise that, it's a tough situation. Like, do you want to come in and support your team as a depth piece and get a few snaps, or do you want to say, hey, listen, I recognize the situation and I want to go somewhere else? The coaching staff would rather have him here, but the coaching staff also, first and foremost, wants to develop men and wants to afford these men great opportunities. And so it's with this team's blessing that he is going to go seek out another opportunity. And I'll say it, I don't want to see him. Go somewhere, find whoever's on our schedule next year, go somewhere else. Like, go somewhere else, because he is a guy that can blitz, off the edge. He's a guy who can play in the slot receiver. He's a guy who can come up and run support. And so I would love for him to, go to go to somewhere that you're going to enjoy what you're doing. Go to Alabama. I'm absolutely okay with you going to Alabama. We don't see you next year. Go to Alabama, have yourself a good time. But I just wish him the best of luck. And a poor situation, and there's been a lot of hubbub about whether him quitting on the team or not. No, this is a guy who dealt with some ailments. He's healthy now. He wants to go find an opportunity.
Yeah, and that was the thing. It's he played. He got to play in 4 games this year, so now he can redshirt or whatnot. He played Temple. He played in the Auburn game. He played against Kent State and against Texas, and that was where the issue lied. Was he just didn't get to. Like I said, he got lost in the shuffle. Right? He was dealing with some ailments, and now he's healthy. But by the time he got to where he's ready to play, in my personal opinion, it was. You already kind of had your rotations really set. Like, it was not, like I said, nothing against him. It was, you kind of got to that point where you're good. And the young players were showing up and showing out, man. Like, and it sucks. Like I said, it sucks. He's one player I did not want to lose. I wanted to see him play more this season, but it just didn't work out. So shout out to Dolby. We show him love. We show players love regardless, of how the situation goes. We just appreciate you pulled up and gave us the opportunity. So want to show him some love on that. I want to talk. I think the best thing to jump right into here is going to be the availability report, mainly because the players that populate on there puts a smile on our face. Before we do that, let's pay this bill real quick. Before we keep going, let's talk about our partners over there at Sleeper, our presenting sponsor for the channel. We have to give them a shout out. If you have not checked them out for daily fantasy ball, you are missing out. They're more than just season-long fantasy, and they've got some great promos and options. Like right now, if you use our promo code unfair, they're gonna give you $20 just for signing up. And if you decide to make a deposit, use our promo code. They're gonna match your deposit at 100% up to $100. And so all you do is go inside of the app, pick 2 or more players, pick more or less on their stats, and boom, you are in the game, and you can make up to 1,000 times your money. So turning those game days into paydays. Also, inside the app, cool stuff. They show you live stats. You've got a chat function so you can chop it up with folks about the biggest plays and the biggest players at the time. So if you want to get into the action, you have the opportunity. Use our promo code unfair. They're going to match your deposit at 100% up to $100. And new users, $20 just for signing up. No deposit is needed, so doesn't hurt to try. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Thank y'all for pulling up. Hit the like button if you're new to the channel. Subscribe, rate, review, give us 5 stars. Coop, we got the availability report that dropped last night. You got another one coming tonight. It comes in at 7:10 Central. Luckily, the college football playoff does it similar to what the SEC does and the Big 12 and the Big 10 or whatnot. And they put it out. So we started them on Tuesday instead of Wednesday. So, we usually go live Wednesday nights. We show them as soon as they drop. We can have our thoughts on it. Well, since they dropped the game's Friday, they dropped on Tuesday, and we've got an idea what it looks like. So here's what that number, that deal is. So looking at Oklahoma's, I guess the really only thing that matters here is the fact that when you look at it, you see that R. Mason Thomas ain't on the list. Javonte Barnes is a probable. Jake Michael is a questionable. I don't expect him to play, but it's good to see that he is back. It was mentioned he had an infection and he was dealing with something, but the good thing is he's made his valiant return. The expectation is he'll be able to play, possibly, but I think he'll remain questionable. He may shift out. But the other thing though, Coop, and I wanted to point this out specifically, and I'm gonna pass it on to you, and then we'll talk about Alabama's players and afterwards. But on the out portion of it, you see Dolby, which he's gonna portal. Gentry's out. Jeremiah Newcomb's out. But only offensive lineman on here is Troy Everett. And the reason why I'm pointing that out to you all, and I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from with this, is most of the season you kept seeing at least 3 offensive linemen on that list. And I was letting everybody know this, that the reason why they're on here week after week is the expectation is at some point they're going to be able to play again this season. And I feel like now we're at that point where there's a possibility that they are going to be available. So Jacob Sexton and Jake Taylor are now on there. Hito Zaida also or is no longer on here because they were in there in the past. It's a possibility they could be available as needed. So looking at that though, Coop, talk to me what you think.
I mean, you said it right. I mean, you're getting to the end here. You don't see. I mean, that's what made it a little difficult. Is every single time that you saw this list, you saw this just kind of ridiculous list of outs. Guys, 3 offensive linemen. You're dealing with offensive line depth for 2 years. Anytime you saw that, even though you knew it was coming, it still was like, God bless America. Like, why can't we just get, I don't know, at least one of these dudes to get off the damn injury report? So now, Troy Everett, I mean, it was a knee ligament, right? So, I mean, like, you're not really going to press that with him. I agree with you. I think Jake Michael, more on he is no longer infirmed, but he's had some weight loss with with his situation. Jake Sexton, Jake Taylor, hopefully you don't have to use them, because I'm guessing, I mean, we haven't seen them in a year. Jake Taylor, that is, for the year. I mean, we saw him at the very, 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 very beginning. I think Sexton was like first snap of the game, right? Against Illinois State, or first drive, but you haven't seen them in quite a long time. So obviously,
Mm-mm.
are they going to be able to come in and do anything against an Alabama team in the playoffs? Probably not, but you got bodies there, and you go and you win this weekend. You have yourself another 2 weeks of practice time for those guys to get back into it, and then they become a quality depth piece. So excited to see this stuff. Again, I hate it for Troy, just one of the heart and souls, a captain on the team. Gentry is a guy that just can't find health. And then obviously we already talked about Dolby. And then Newcomb, another young kid who is showing a lot of practice, I guess pops. And so, anytime you think of it from like not having them as a player, but then also them not getting a chance to experience this, because how many times do you hear people say, well, yeah, we went to the Super Bowl the first year, and I thought, man, we're going to be here every year. We went to playoffs our first year, and we thought we were going to be here every year. I mean, like this isn't a guaranteed situation to get to play in the playoffs
At all. And I'm a great example of that. I remember back in 2012 when the Thunder first made their run to the NBA Finals. And for me, it was, oh, okay, team's young. They got a whole bunch of players that should be able to come back together, blah, blah, blah. So I'm not going to concern myself with trying to figure out how to go to the game. We should be back. We good. I'll just go the next time. And then, we go, however long we went without going back. And so this last season, I found a way to make it to a game. I was like, I'm figure out how to get my butt to one of these games, because there's no guarantee that we'll be able to get back. So in that, vein of, as you may mention there, Coop, is same thing when it comes to the playoffs. The going back to it is going to it in general is tough. It's not something that's a guarantee. Yeah. And so, when you have the opportunity, you take advantage of it and you go and you enjoy it. And the good thing is that, for a lot of these players, they're definitely taking advantage and going to enjoy that as well. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited that we're getting healthier. Yeah. That's probably the biggest thing, is we're physically getting to the point where we're ready to go hit the field, and we're not in a situation where there's a bunch of ailments where we're not going to be able to play a lot of players. We're getting healthier while others are trying to figure out their health status.
There's a lot of guys who weren't, Jaden Jackson, he didn't show up very often, but this is a guy who's been, really battling through some stuff. You heard it in his interview this past week, where he's basically saying like, yeah, I have not been healthy. And, I don't know if you call it cowardice or whatever, but I think we talked about before the season, I said, wouldn't it be great to be in the playoff, not be in the SEC championship game for a tiebreaker scenario, get that extra week of health and go in? So Alabama at a disadvantage, having to play in the SEC championship game against another big boy. And I'm wondering if teams don't use that strategically going forward, because Alabama had to play there. If they won or lost, they're still playing this coming week. Right. So, how is that going to affect things in the future? Is it a situation where you got a banged up quarterback and you roll out your backup because win or lose, you're in? That precedent's been set, and at least you can be like, well, they had a banged up quarterback. There's just a lot of slippery slope material that I think that it can happen going forward. Different subject, but still, it's good to have that extra week off, because you didn't have to play in the conference championship game.
Yeah, and as you say that, truth be told, I feel like the only real conference that can leverage that is probably the Big Ten and the SEC. I think they're the only two, because they're really the only two conferences that's most likely going to have at minimum 3 to 4 teams. Because for others, like for example, the Big 12, BYU beats Texas Tech, they're in. that actually puts them in, and then Tech gets shifted around, and that could potentially move some other bodies. So you only really have that with your power two, that the conference championship game isn't as important. Even though to me, I say conference championships still are awesome to have. It'd be nice though if they shifted it to where we got to figure out a way to get the calendar together, in my personal opinion. That's the tough part. And I know that why they had that week off, mainly not only because of the Army-Navy game, but at the same time, it's finals week. And, as much as everybody wants to pretend like, oh, well, they're professional, they're still in college. It still counts. There's still rules behind that. Until those rules are gone, we abide by said rules. And they're going to need to figure out a way to get this calendar going to where, to me, you probably should move everything up a week. That's kind of what it feels like. Everything needs to be moved up and make it to where you play like the first weekend of the games, possibly Thanksgiving weekend or something like that. I don't know. There's a lot of things to look at and a lot of philosophy to talk about. We can talk about that another time and literally go at it as nauseum. But when you look at the injury report for Alabama, though, that tight end, Josh Cuevas, as well as the other tight end, Danny Lewis, boy, that's an interesting one to me. That was the dude that cooked us.
Yeah.
How's that going to
go? Cuevas did not play against Georgia. Nope. Man, I want to say that he played a little bit against Auburn, but
I don't think he did, but you might be right. I'll look it up. Let me look it up real quick.
Look it up while I'm blabbing here. But I actually think that I have it right here. But anyway, where I'm going with this is, he had a lot of, I don't see any Cuevas here, so maybe not. But anyway, he's good. He's a great big body. He obviously is great as an inline blocker and as a receiver. But Jay, I'm curious. I mean, they lose an asset, or he's not going to be 100%. I've read a couple of different things from Alabama insiders. Some people are saying that he is at practice and he's going to try to give it a go. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's not promising. You're in on the nitty gritty every single play as a tight end. Yeah. And we saw, when Michigan came to town, their big tight end, same situation, in or out. And then, same thing with Norfleet at Missouri. So there's been a lot of these tight ends, and it's hard for you to get healthy as a tight end because, again, whether you're chipping on a play before you go out, where you're blocking on a running play, you got a running back running up your backside, you've got a, guard, being pushed backwards and falling on your ankles. But I think Cuevas, I bet this team wants to see him again and say, all right, what can you do if your OC doesn't pull some shady shenanigans, to get you the ball, because they did that 5 separate times, and Cuevas, 3 of the plays that Cuevas really got off on were those plays. The running back falling down. There was another one where he did the clap, look to the side, and then when OU's guys look to the side, clap again. So I think Brent Venables was like, "Hey, bring it on. Let's see what you could do without your shenanigans."
Yeah, I mean, it requires trickery in order to get past the staff, which is a good thing. I mean, in our aspect, we can talk about that. It's, so it's the ultimate sign of respect that I just can't go straight at you all the time. I have to mix things up because you are a formidable opponent. So I'm not even mad at them for doing that because I understand. Like, how else you gonna beat Brent Venables in the way that he does things here? So let's. I'm not. Like I said, I have no issues with that because I get it. It's a challenge. You're going against one of the best DCs in the country, and statistically, he's proven it. That's the best part about this team and the way they're playing is they're playing like they're one of the best in the game when it comes to doing this. So yeah, shout out to the coaching staff there at Alabama, recognizing that man, they gonna be tough. They're gonna be a tough one to deal with. So
I would say on their report, there's 3 guys missing, and that's LT Overton, Dre Kirkpatrick, and there was another defender. But Like, those are big deals. I mean, Overton's a really good run stuffer. He's not going to be showing up in the box score for sacks and, hurries and pressures and stuff like that. And as you're trying to, Kamarion Howard's a big one too. Kevin Riley, another running back. So like um, when you got that offensive line situation, we are healthier than we were against Alabama.
Yeah.
Um,
You
they're
get our Mason
going
back,
to
right? You get Jaden
you get
Jackson at a
our
healthy. Yeah.
but I'm saying like our offensive line against their defensive line with
Yeah, that's true.
with Overton, you're going to want to try to establish something for a run. We ran for almost nothing against Alabama the first time. The Overton one is a big one. That being said, Jay, it's still Alabama. They probably got a very, very physically gifted 4 or 5 star guy that's going to come in and replace him. So it's not like that
Yeah.
you're getting a slack. It's not that you're getting a 265, 6 foot tall dude. Like, you're probably still going to have an NFL body coming in, but Overton obviously is the incumbent starter. So if you can keep these things going, that's one less rotation piece that they can run out there too.
Yeah. No, you're definitely going up against talented players. So we're not going to pretend like, we're not going to gaslight y'all and pretend like, Bama ain't got talent. Their roster is full of dudes that are 4-5 star top tier talent. So we ain't going to lie to y'all and say that they ain't got nobody. So, but I from there, now that we see the injury report, we've got an idea of what to prepare for. Honestly, in this game, it's going to be one of those where I'm curious to see where Oklahoma goes. And so let's take a gander at how Oklahoma's path, I guess you could say. I guess that's probably the best way to saying it. What is Oklahoma's path to potentially winning this game? Let's jump and let's talk about that, because to me, that's where things get interesting. How exactly can we win this game, Coop? Like, what do you feel like has to happen in order for us to get there and win it?
I mean, I don't think at this point you can get away with the turnovers like you did against LSU. OU has always, I guess that you would say since Ole Miss, OU has been able to, you know, uh, make these mistakes, leave food on the table, and still just be inevitable at the end. I think that with a lot of game plan timing, to look at Oklahoma right now, Indiana's looking at OU and Alabama. And if you're looking at OU, and I do not think that they're going to this OU team that's going to play, I think it's going to be more reminiscent of Michigan and Auburn than it is of LSU. But you're going to have to eliminate the mistakes. You don't want to do that. You're looking to cause mistakes. So on offense, I think it's simple. I think that you have to give John Mateer just cut and clear opportunities on offense. Let run plays be run plays, let pass plays be pass plays. And John Mateer needs to see the open buffet. When the buffet opens, you got to throw the ball, and you have to also have to anticipate the ball. But I think that this team's going to go with John Mateer on offense.
Yeah, it's going to hinge on his decision making in the game, and I agree with you there, because looking at the way that Alabama will probably walk into this game, how they will quote unquote limp into this game, getting rid of the ball quickly is going to be critical. It's going to be pretty windy. It's probably going to be a little gross. It's not going to be a good weather situation, quote unquote. It's going to be cold. Outside of that, it shouldn't be bad, but it's going to be cold and it's going to be a little windy. So we're going to have to play as if it's cold and if it's windy. And to me, John should be healthy enough to handle most of this.
Yes.
That's just my thought. I don't think that the good thing is we've had the 3 weeks, him and the running backs. It's going to be big on it's going to be big on the decision-making portion of it. I think that's kind of where I'm really stuck at.
Yeah.
And the run game is, of course, going to need to really do something.
For the run game, I think that you need to be able to, you're going to probably see two running backs with the bulk of the carries. I think you'll see 3 running backs with carries. And then I think that you're going to see John Mateer. Finality on offense is, I think that you need to have 4 or 5 opportunities for Jaren Kanak. You need to have your running backs probably average just north of 3.5 a carry. And John Mateer needs to convert maybe two first downs with his legs. I think that if you can do that, you know that Satania is going to get something at some point. You're seeing Giovanni starting to kind of look like he's rounding into form, and then Keontez Lewis is all the way back.
Yeah, it looks like he is back too. Yeah, that's going to be big.
I think on the offense, you just, like I said, take what's there for you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Jay, on the defense, I have a feeling that our Mason Thomas returning is going to, and the way that Brent Venables is going to coach these guys, it's going to be take their soul early. Let's take it to another level. Jaden's healthy. David Stone's healthy. Dom Williams is healthy. G-Baby's healthy. All these guys, this is why they stuck around. This is why they're here. Kip, Kobe, everybody is here. And I say that this defense, you continue to do what you're doing. On the outside, the guys just need to make sure that you don't allow yourself to any of the big plays, but you make them earn every single ounce of what they get. And you make them remember it also.
Yeah,
and
every time. Yeah.
I just see this defense taking it to another level and saying, all right, if there was any doubt, let's erase it.
That's what it is. And hitting people in the mouth. The good thing is we're at home, and this is the only reason why I'm very confident Oklahoma's be able to pull this off, is being at home it's just going to help in the confidence factor. It's going to help in the way that we should be able to perform going into this game. We got that. That to me is probably the best part about it, is being at the crib. We should be able to do that. Now, I want to talk about something on the defensive side of that, but I'm going to make a couple picks here with our partners here at Sleeper. Shout out to them taking care of your boy, Jay and Coop. Best odds and options out there. Use our promo code UNFAIR. They're going to match your first deposit at 100% up to $100. Plus, they're going to give you $20 just for checking them out. No deposit needed. And so let me pull this up here and make a couple of these picks to kind of talk about, because we've got some college football stuff. We've got the Oklahoma numbers showing up in here. So you got Ty Simpson at 230-something yards passing. I'm hoping that we can hold him to less than that. That's what I'm going to say. The defense is going to hold him under 230. We're going to keep him at around that number because we're at home. We should be able to. But can John Mateer throw for 2 touchdowns? I'm going to give him and Satania some love because I feel like those two combined together. Ryan Williams will probably have a pretty good game, but we should slow down Jeremy Bernard. But pick most of those, and they're not going to let us pick Titanium Leg because they know that dude's gonna definitely produce something. But again, you pick 2 or more players, pick more or less on the stats, and you are 100% in the game. Use our promo code UNFAIR. They'll match your first deposit 100% up to $100. Plus, they're going to give you $20 just for signing up. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Thank y'all for, of course, pulling up. Hit the like button if you're new to the channel. Subscribe, rate, review, give us 5 stars. Coop, defensively going up against their offense. I'm going to say, as I kind of made those picks, the focal point is getting to Ty Simpson. And I think the game changer is the fact that our Mason Thomas is going to play. Now, the good thing is, and we talked about this here before the game, that our Mason's not playing in Tuscaloosa. I think we'll be fine on the defensive line with the way that Taylor Wan has shown up, the way that PJ Adebaware has stepped up, the way that Marvin Jones Jr. has produced, and Daniel Collier is starting to break out as well with his technique. I think we're solid. I think even a bigger one than our Mason Thomas coming back, truly to me, is Jaden Jackson. Like you mentioned, if you go look at the last 3 games, he was roughly under 15 snaps per game over the last 3 games after Tennessee. And that's when he was dealing with something. And you talked about it earlier. He mentioned now he's healthy. Yeah, I think that he's going to go out there and slap some folks. Let's just put it that way.
Very much. And Jay, this can get clipped by an Alabama fan.
Oh, it will be.
Because if something happens and, it goes the other way. But my prediction on this game is the fact, like kind of what you just said. We put Ty Simpson in hell. He has not had a great game since. I mean, he looks statistically good. But as you read the Bama message boards, like, yeah, we got to hit some deep shots. And they're like, bah, ha, 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 ha. He's got the hurt back. Jay, my back is sore right now, and I'm having trouble sitting here just leaning forward to the microphone. So, like, this is why I'm like, you got to have these business decisions. I think that with the rotation on guys, we have not seen like balls to the wall Taylor Wine and our Mason Thomas at the same time this season.
Nope.
Dude's hurt a little bit. You're telling me that whether it is one of the fascinating blitzes or just, organic pressure, Ty Simpson's going to get hit. And that's where I'm picking is there a chance that he throws some, Hail Marys and, completes one or two, gets pass interference on one of the guys? Sure, there's a chance of that. But we are going to hit him early and often. You go back to like remember the Titans when he's like, I don't want them to gain another line. At the end of the game with, Alabama, Brent Venables started saying, all right, everybody go. Hold up on the outside. Everybody go. And once Brent Venables started doing that, and because if we sit in the zone, Ty Simpson's going to have some opportunity to throw the ball around.
He is.
I think he's going to light him up. We're going to give away some. But at the same time, I don't think it's going to be enough. Because thank God in college football, I mean, he could throw a bomb 60 yards downfield. If Gilroy's gets burnt or if Robert Spears Jr. gets burnt or something like that, you just pass interference. That's a 15-yard penalty. And now they got to light him up again. So I think Ty Simpson's going to have a tough day.
I agree with you there. I do think that the day is going to be one of those of it's not going to be as exciting of a day that he would probably like to have. But
and
I don't know if he eats us up. I'm going to be honest. I don't know. I don't
think,
know if he really eats us up.
I didn't say eat him up. I said he may get some. He may get one or two to where he just throws a ball up over the top and says, hey, you got two freaks for wide receivers. Go catch it. Between Horton and Ryan Williams and the other guy that I can't even remember at the top of my head.
Jeremy Bernard.
Jeremy. I always want to call him Jeremy, and that throws me off. But anyway, there's going to be an opportunity there, also with the tight end. But I don't care if Jam Miller is back. Jam Miller's run for 100 yards once this season.
Yeah.
And you got back from injury for like the third time this year. I mean, they're going to be one-dimensional. And I think that also Jam Miller being back takes more snaps out of the Hill kid. And the Hill kid was the one who actually had anything against us.
And honestly, I think Hill's yards came from with Jaden Jackson being out.
Yeah.
I think that's where, our biggest strength comes back is I think he's one of the better run stuffers. Not saying anybody else isn't good at it. I just think that he's one of the better ones. And we're going to take advantage of that. We're going to you're going to see the line play probably in a better just overall trying to think what's the best way to say it. There's just going to be more in sync. That's probably the best way to say it. It feels like they all rely on each other heavily, right? They have the quote unquote family mentality behind them. And so for them, we've got to get in sync. And the best way to be in sync is, having everybody out there.
So Jay, would you say that if the defensive line is completely in sync, they're going to say Alabama to go bye bye bye?
Ain't no lie. Bye bye bye.
Um, let's also say this: David Stone and Jay Jackson are I mean, those are best friends.
They really are.
Them both looking at each other and going, Bash Brothers, like Team Ramrod, whatever you want to do, like that's it. This could be the last game on Owen Field or Gaylord Family Memorial Stadium for Grayson Halton, R. Mason Thomas, potentially Kip Lewis, Robert Spears Jennings. These guys want to give one final show. Grayson Halton, I can promise you, I just saw that is in the East West Shrine game. He's accepted his invitation.
Yep.
Robert Spears Jennings is in one also. Hey, listen, it's this is the first. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, right? Like this is the first time that there's been campuses hosting round one games. So
Last year was the first time.
last
but
year,
yeah,
last year was okay.
Yeah,
So,
when we brought
this
the
is your
12
chance.
came in. Yeah.
Okay, so this is the first time that OU's been able to do this and send off guys. There's no way to like maximize what this means to these guys, and they're at home. It's going to be loud as hell, and I think that there's going to be a lot of juiced fans out there.
No, I agree. What people failed to realize in that game, that even though Alabama did outgain Oklahoma, about 200 yards or whatnot, Bama, after the third quarter and they took that lead, they didn't pass the 50-yard line for the rest of the game. Oklahoma led for over 50 minutes of the game. Like, we had the lead
52
for over
and
50.
change.
Yeah, 52 and some change. That tells me everything I need to know about what the possibilities are. Bend, don't break. Sure, the turnovers always help, but when you create them, that's what matters. Like, you can say that, can it be said that Bama gave it away? I don't know. But I know that in the reports, Kalen DeBoer is saying that both Daniel Lewis as well as Josh Cuevas will be available. I heard that Cuevas' situation was like a foot situation. That could kind of not, it could backfire.
He's not going to be healthy.
That's the word.
It
could backfire. Healthy. Yeah, it's not going to be fully healthy. Not the way they want. And I do think that, like you said, Brent Venables and them is going to be paying attention like crazy to where that dude is and prevent him from going out there and quote unquote cooking us with some of those places that he's at. So all we got to do is continue to stick to the script and play. So what's your final prediction for this game? Got a couple of days, but we're going to go ahead and throw our Wednesday night predictions out there.
Hey, I think that
do you need the spread and the over-under before you do it?
No, I don't.
You good? Okay.
I think go ahead for the listeners, just so that you can pull that up as I'm going through kind of the thought process.
Yeah.
But I've got, I think that this team is absolutely going to be lit up. They're going to be extremely excited to get back out there and do what they want to do. I think that you have a pretty good plan on offense to where, that you can take what we did last game. You can bring in some of the healthier, more experienced offensive line set up now. These guys have gone through top 20 defense after top 20 defense after top 20 defense.
Mm-hmm.
I think that John Mateer is going to have himself a little bit more success, more extended drives. You're going to have the opportunity to get into field goal range several times and give Tate Sandell an opportunity to pop it through a few through. So also on defense, I already mentioned it. I think that Brent Venables is going to come out and absolutely be ready to light it up early. I got OU winning 30-17. And I really do think that we're going to see several field goals by Tate. I think eventually you're going to have one of those opportunities for one of them to get off. A Satania big long run, Giovanni Gibson maybe a big run by X-Rob. You're going to have a big explosive play happen that is what you're, as a defense against OU's offense, is yes, they're not going to consistently be good, but somehow they always find a way to get one of these big plays.
Hmm.
And that type of stress is going to be tough on a team that I'm just going to say that a lot of the reason why I feel that Alabama's going to be in the struggle bus is you saw it last year. Oh, you lit them up. They go out and they need a miracle against Auburn. They go and they play a very very inferior Michigan team and see no success there too. Somehow at the end of the season, these things have gone the wrong way. They just got embarrassed by Georgia. And I think that we can do the OU Georgia game plan better than Georgia can, or we did the first time.
Yeah, we can. I'm still staying at the conservative numbers of 20-10. I do think our offense surprises everybody right now. When I pulled it up, the spread is sitting still at 1.5. Alabama is the favorite on the road, which is very interesting. The juice is heavy on Oklahoma though, so it feels like they're trying to entice more Alabama traffic, but we'll see. Over unders at 40.5. So I don't think we hit 40. I do expect it to be another under. I think this defense does that to people. But I think the offense is going to surprise everybody. It's been a few weeks. It should be healthier. Running back room looks good. Rob, Torrey Blaylock should be at a better spot now. Javante Barnes is anticipated to get some snaps. He's one of your better pass blockers. At the same time, he can still run. He's healthy now. His red shirt's not up, and he's been a practice guy this entire time. He's been available for it. So I can totally see him getting a few snaps to help the young pups as they're dealing with, their ailments. And I think that John Mateer now practicing without any tape on his thumb, I think that he's probably closer to the 85 percentile area of confidence in his hand and his knee. So give me John Mateer to have one of his better games, similar to LSU, but without all the interceptions. I do expect at least one turnover, but I do think that when we get into the tempo thing and he starts to get into a groove, you're starting to see John play at a much better level than he did. Sorry, LSU game, when he was going, dude was looking good, and then you started to see openings happening, and they started hitting him. He started to hit those opening spots,
Yeah.
and I feel like when he's in a rhythm and tempo, that's when he's at his best. I expect us to do the same thing in this game. Give me Oklahoma 2010. Close game, but fun one. I don't think that I'm going to be spot on this time. I don't know if I'm going to hit 23-21 again and then for the rest of my life. I've already gone to Vegas and tried to use that, and it didn't work. So we did not win any money, folks, unfortunately. So, but no, I'm going to go 20-10. I think Oklahoma wins. That thing, of course, covering the spread. I think they do the under the 40.5 because I just don't feel like, I feel like with the weather being windy and cold, it's going to be a low scoring, fun battle. So y'all make sure y'all put y'all's predictions in the comments. We'll be watching it throughout the show. Like I said, it's pre-recorded as the days are going crazy, but we appreciate y'all pulling up and joining us. Coop, last words as we continue.
I mean, this has been an absolute fun season. It's been one to where you've got certain aspects of this team that you can count on this. There's no question. Like we said, the identity, of this team last year was a really, really good defense and just nothing on offense. The identity this year is an absolutely stellar defense and then an inevitable offense. Somebody that offense just finds a way to get it going. I think there's a lot of confidence in this team. It being Alabama, I mean, on a Friday night, you got Christmas lights outside. You got some good old, Christmas weather, and Alabama and Oklahoma on in prime time on Friday night. I mean, like this was the type of game that was envisioned when the playoff committee and the playoff scenarios started coming around. This is why you want to watch college football.
Exactly. I'm happy that the playoffs are going to be on campus this year. I hope next year they take the suggestion. I know the first couple of years they couldn't change anything, but I really hope that they take the suggestion of next year where the first 2 rounds are on college campuses. Because to me, that's the essence of college football, and you really have a greater appreciation when you do that. So the team, like it will be great if Indiana was hosting next round instead of going to the Rose Bowl. That would have been so much better, even with the weather. It'd have been just, football. And that's exactly what we're excited about. So, all right. Thank y'all for pulling up. Hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, rate, review, give us 5 stars. We'll be back Sunday like we always are. So y'all enjoy the first round of the college football playoffs. I plan on going to the Oklahoma Breakdowns live show on Thursday night at Riverwind Casino. I do plan on being there. That is my goal as of right now. So I just got to make sure all my ducks are in a row and I can drive on down to Norman to Riverwind and go, I'll probably do a little gambling while I'm there too, but go hang out and enjoy the show. So if y'all are there, find your boy, come holler at me and say hi. If Coop gets bored, he may make the drive down and hang out too. So, but we appreciate all the love and support for this season. It's been awesome. Our goal is for it to continue. So let's get this W. Let's head to the Rose Bowl in January. Make the magic happen. Coop, Jay, we're out. Peace.